What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again, which seems to be an eternity since the last time I've been on here. Just been really busy. I'm really sorry, but I have an excuse why. I'll tell you why. This is why. This little guy right here is our new family member, Rocco. He's a Spaniel Lab mix with a Pit Bull. But he's a very lovable dog, but he's been taking all my time away from doing any kind of Blu-ray updates and or anything else that I've done. So I apologize. But everyone welcome. This is my November 1st Blu-ray update. I also have a couple DVDs which I hate doing, but they're not released on Blu-ray, so it's so hard not to buy them. I have a couple movies to talk about that you got to check out yourself. So let's get started. First one I picked up was a dual pack. It's Father of the Bride Part 1 and 2. I talked a long time ago, I think like March or April, about hoping this goes on Blu-ray. Well, it actually was on Blu-ray. I just didn't do enough research to find it. But I was really excited to find this on Blu-ray. These movies are so funny. And I love Steve Martin in this movie. He's just such a genuine guy, hard-working father, who really doesn't want change ever to occur with his family and friends. And everything changes whether he likes it or not. You know, his daughter gets married in the first one, his daughter has a kid in the second one, and someone else has a kid in the second one, and all this other crazy stuff that involves, you know, Steve Martin's character George. And, you know, Martin Short plays a real eccentric, very flamboyant, you know, wedding coordinator, and his accent's so funny. And you know, the movies are so good. You know, it's a definite great thing to have in your repertoire of movies. So very pleased to pick this up. The next one, I saw this movie in the theaters probably back in like 2007, maybe really early 2008. Fracture. Got this movie really cheap at Best Buy. I think this was like $4 or $5. It was so cheap, and I got it at the Best Buy, like I said, and I had to get it because I always liked this movie. You know, Anthony Hopkins just plays a very just a rough dude in the sense of cold-hearted. He doesn't really care. You know, his wife is kind of fooling around on him on a like a policeman or like an agent or like a FBI guy, and he just voluntarily, with no remorse, just shoots and kills her. And he wants to go to court just to kind of see what the judicial system is like, and if he can actually beat the system and be considered, be considered innocent. The movie's crazy, and Ryan Gosling comes along as the prosecuting attorney, and it was right before he got real big with his notoriety, because he got huge from The Notebook, and this was kind of like the next movie to really help him out with his career. But a gem, you got to check it out. A really good movie. Next one I got, I haven't really bought a lot of the new releases. I think they're way too expensive. I think $29.99 is way too much money for a movie. I even think $24.99 is too much. $19.99 is a little bit pushing it. I had to get this movie because Mason and I love this in the theaters, which we did review, was The Heat. Had to buy this movie. I just think this is such a funny movie. You know, anything Melissa McCarthy does, I think's amazing. And she plays just a real rough, tough cop. And I love how her and Sandra Bullock get involved. They kind of she comes in. Sandra Bullock comes in as kind of like a real uptight FBI agent, and she goes to be partners with Melissa McCarthy, who's just completely off her hinges, and just brutally honest about everything, and does not give a shit, and is a compulsive everything. And there are so many funny parts in this movie. And I love the cameo of Biff from Back to the Future. And he had a very small role in the movie. And I love that. You got to check that out. He was really funny in this movie too. But this is just a great movie. And if you're a big stand-up comedy fan like myself, I love Michael McDonald. You know, not the weird piano singing weirdo. I'm talking about the real funny tall guy who played Stuart in Mad TV. Well, he's in this, and he's a bad guy. It's unbelievable how he's a bad guy in this movie. But you gotta check this out. It's so funny. The next one, again, I got this like the last review I said to you about getting the Winnie the Pooh movies. I got this in the future for my children, and I also got this for my niece who's 6. I had to get Little Mermaid. It is such a good movie. You know, it's such a classic. You know, I have the old VHS big case. You know, it's legendary. I have that at home, but I don't have a VCR anymore. It's a shame I don't have a VCR anymore, but I don't. So I had to get the Blu-ray Diamond Edition of The Little Mermaid. It's such a good movie. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this movie. I have always loved, Sebastian the lobster. Always loved him. Always thought Ariel was kind of smoking. I just always thought that they were just so good. And I thought that Ursula, that octopus woman. Oh God, she scared me so much. And she really scared me because when I was a little kid seeing that movie, my librarian in my elementary school reminded me of her, and it would just freak me out to no end. And I just remember, Ursula librarian, I'm not trying to make you mad ever. I don't know, it's scary. But classic is such a classic movie. I had to get it. I know it's kid-like, I don't care. Love it. Next one. Anything Eddie Murphy does where he's playing multiple roles, sign me up, because that's where he's at his genius. Had to get in Orbit. This movie did awful in theaters. Awful. And I heard reviews it was stupid. I disagree. I was laughing my ass off this whole movie. It's just Eddie Murphy plays this character in Orbit, and he has absolutely no suave, no coolness to him, but he had one nice student friend when he was a little boy, kind of like Forrest Gump and Jenny. Think of it that way, but it's for African American. It's Norbit and this little girl Kate that she's always nice to him and stuff like that, even though he's a complete spaz. And as he gets older, he marries this woman named Rasputia, who is right here. She's humongous, who's played by Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy marries Eddie Murphy, and he just hates his life, and she's such a bitch to him, and she cheats on him. And it's just disgusting. And I love Cat Williams in this movie. Again, I love stand-up comedy. He's in this movie. Eddie Griffin's in this movie. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in this movie. And Kate grows up to be very beautiful. And if you can see right there, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of dark. Sorry. She's beautiful. Well, he tries to find ways to be with his true love, Kate, without Rasputia killing him. And the movie is hysterical, especially when Rasputia goes down a water slide. That's all I'm saying. Hysterical. Good flick. Next one, I had to get this one. Mason and I watched this movie probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and she was like, I really want this as in our collection, who we can watch it just randomly. And I was like, alright, that sounds fine. It's a rom-com, Notting Hill. Great movie. This guy is an owner of a bookstore, Hugh Grant, and Julia Roberts plays an actual celebrity, and which is funny because she is a celebrity, and she plays Anna Scott, this huge actress, and Julia Roberts, an actress playing an actress. I thought that was cool. And she comes into his bookstore, and he's this very kind of dumb, kind of fumbling his words, nervous, but he's nice at the same time. So she realizes the humility and the genuineness he's showing, and she actually asks him out, and he's like, okay, and his roommate is awesome. I love his roommate in this movie. It's that Rhys Ifans or whatever, the guy that was the kicker in The Replacements. And I absolutely just love this movie. And, his whole family, Hugh Grant's whole family does not believe that he's actually dating Anna Scott. And he brings her over to their house for an evening of fun, of games and dinner. And they're all they just can't believe it. It's such a great movie. It really is. It's a little long, though, but it's really good. The next one, in honor of the Halloween season time frame, I know it's November 1st, but Halloween was just yesterday, so we can't go too far from that. I have liked all of the paranormal. I have liked all of the Paranormal Activity series, and I had to get the fourth one because I heard it wasn't real good, but I had a feeling it might be good just because I prefer the whole paranormal kind of stuff like that in terms of horror movies, because I find it to be very kind of a non-fiction feel. It feels like this could happen. So I picked this movie up, and it was basically taking after the second movie. The third movie talks about Katie when she was young. Well, that kind of had nothing to do with the second movie. So it kind of went the first movie, second movie, and then of course, the fourth movie. The third movie was kind of on its own. But the fourth movie takes after whenever Katie takes that little boy from the second movie, and changes his name and everything like that, and they live across the street. Well, this little girl here is kind of like their across the street neighbor, and she's probably 15 or 16. She has a boyfriend who's kind of a d-bag, and your cliche ballsy boyfriend in horror movies. And her parents are kind of like on the outs a little bit, and they're wealthy, and whatever. But the whole movie kind of is like on Skype. It's kind of shown through Skype, which is kind of cool because it's modern, but it also makes you think, God, technology is just going crazy nowadays. And this movie got a lot of slack and a lot of shit. I thought it was really good. I was scared. I really was scared. There was parts where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be bad. And the little boy that was taken by Katie in the second movie, he befriends her little brother. And the demons come out. And all that stuff just goes crazy, like all the movies do. And you gotta see it, because a lot of crazy stuff happens. The very end of the movie, man, I was like, ooh! I was like freaking out. I was so scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. But the movie is just absolutely not bad at all. I don't know why people don't like it. I really liked it. You gotta check it out. That chick that plays Katie, she's kind of hot. She's also very scary, and she can change her face into that demon stuff, where she just goes right in the camera. I don't like that. She's like back like this, and she's like, it's like whoa, 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 don't hit the camera. But awesome movie. Check it out. The next one, just a legendary classic movie. 10 out of 10 easily. It won 2 Oscars: Best Editing and Best Lead Actor, and that was Robert De Niro. Raging Bull. I had to get this. It was so good. It really is probably the best film of the decade in the 80s. This movie came out right in 1980. Martin Scorsese filmed, and it's about Jake LaMotta. The famous boxer who just gets, just his whole life he was forced to fight. His dad made him fight on the streets and just made him fight for fun and put on shows because he was fighting. It's just ridiculous. And it's about him and his brother Joey, who was played by Joe Pesci. And his wife was Kathy Moriarty, who was also the bad woman in Casper, the 1995 Disney family movie Casper. And she was also, she was in another movie. What was she in? She always plays kind of a mean, I don't know. You don't like her. But she was Vicky in this. And this movie is just, Robert De Niro puts on like 60 pounds of muscle, pretty much, for this movie. And he did an exceptional job. He won Best Actor. And you'll see why. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the crazy thing about this movie is it's widely known that Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci in this movie, they actually get in a fight in the movie, which was scripted, but they actually did hit each other for the real factor. They're actually hitting each other and actually fighting. And it's so crazy how real it looks, because it is. So you really appreciate that. And because it was black and white, this movie was filmed in black and white, that it was actually, when they had the blood stream down from the boxers or any parts of the movie, it was actually Hershey's syrup, chocolate syrup. So I thought that was really cool, how that all went down. But, my dog's going crazy, sorry. But, so, it's just a great movie. You gotta check it out. Next one. Oh, classic. I remember seeing this in, I think, 9th grade, maybe 8th grade. Road Trip. Absolutely love this movie. This movie makes me laugh every time. All the people on this, Stifler, who was played, Sean William Scott, his character was E.L. He was pretty much Stifler, just another movie. And it was just about how Josh, who is right here on the very far end, has a girlfriend here, and she lives states away, and they both go to college, a boyfriend-girlfriend from high school, and how he accidentally cheats on her with Amy Smart, who he's holding, and they happen to make a sex tape, and he sends her the sex tape, his girlfriend, by accident from a video he would record himself. And it's so funny how things go so badly. And, Tom Green's really funny, and he plays the Salmon song, which was great. And I love Kyle, who's, I think, DJ Qualls, who you never see anymore. He was funny in this movie. And just absolutely love the whole movie. I love the Andy Dick cameo at the motel. Just great. Just a classic movie. It's so funny. I love the Euro Trip movie they made. It had nothing to do with these guys, but it kind of had the same feel. But just absolutely love this. You got to check it out. Oh, this movie I was so pumped up to see. It's probably one of the more anticipated movies of this year that I wanted to really see. Not because it was like a big Oscar-worthy movie, but it just seemed so funny. Was This Is the End. Again, I don't buy a lot of the new release movies because of the prices, but this one, I didn't give a shit. I think I bought this on pre-release because I wanted it so bad. And I wanted it the first day. But this kind of chronicles like Seth Rogen and Jay Farrell, or no, excuse me, Jay Baruchel, not Jay Farrell, he's got SNL. Jay Baruchel, and they meet at the airport, and they're going to hang out for the weekend, and they want to smoke weed and all that, and play video games. Well, then Seth Rogen was like, hey, let's go to James Franco's, let's go to his party and everything like that, and Jay Baruchel was like, I don't really fit in with them, I don't think they like me, and all of a sudden the world just comes to an end. It's like aliens show up, and all these people, all these famous people are like playing themselves, and a lot of them die. It's like, oh my god, that guy's dead, and like, holy shit. But there's so many funny parts. Michael Cera has a cameo in this movie, and he has one of the funniest cameos ever. He was so good. I don't want to tell you because you got to see it, and that was really good. And I just love Jonah Hill. Him and a demon. Something happens. Hysterical. Got to check it out. And also Danny McBride was such a dick like he always is in movies. He was really funny. So, got to check this out. Great movie. Okay. 2 more Blu-rays to talk about, and then 2 DVDs. The next one, I had to get the Truman Show. I remember seeing this, and it wasn't $12.99. Forget that. It was much cheaper. I just took the sticker off. I got this at Best Buy. I just absolutely thought this movie was really cool. Thought it was a little crazy how it was basically everyone was watching him, and he was just in this big bubble, it seemed like, where he couldn't get out. He had to stay only in his neighborhood, pretty much, and only in his little city, and everyone watched him, and Ed Harris kind of was like the orchestrator of watching everything that he does, and how he starts to figure out that it's fake just by certain things, and it's really cool to see that evolve. And a great movie. It really is a great movie. And Jim Carrey, he has such a prowess when it comes to comic acting. And, everything he does here is just really good. And I thought this movie got absolutely no acclaim, and I'm not sure why. That was a really good flick. So check this out. Very good movie. It's funny, and it's also, like, interesting. Like, it makes you rack your brain a little bit. Loved it. Last movie, another rom-com. Had to pick it up for Mason and myself. But absolutely love Rachel McAdams. Always had a crush on her. Thought she was very attractive. And of course, Mason is a huge Channing Tatum fan, so might as well that was just a win-win and an easy call. But I had to get The Vow, and it's just about a woman who suffers from amnesia from a car accident, who's married to Channing Tatum, gets married to Channing Tatum, and she completely forgets who he is, so he has to win her back, show her who he is. She falls in love with someone else by accident because of the amnesia, all this stuff. But, obviously, if you see the movie, you know what happens in the end. But it was a really good movie, and I really liked it. I thought it was good. Check it out. Got Rocco helping me out right now. You're on camera, buddy. Okay, so I usually don't buy DVDs, but when it's a movie that I've been dying to see for years, and I just have to get it, and there's no way of it going on Blu-ray, I just go for it. But I had to go for Mystery Alaska. Mystery Alaska is a great movie. It's about these Alaskan hockey players that kind of just do pickup games all the time, but they're actually like really good hockey players. Well, I had to get it just because I thought it was so cool how they contacted the New York Rangers to come play a game. And I'm not going to ruin it for you. I want you to see what happens, but that's more towards the end of the movie. But a lot of it just shows like what it's like to play up there in Alaska, where it's always cold, it's always dark. And Russell Crowe does a pretty good job in this movie. And Cole Meany does a real nice job. He's an Irish actor that was in Con Air, and another great actor. And I think you'll really like this. And Hank Azaria was in it, and Burt Reynolds was in it. Just a great movie about hockey and pickup games on the pond, and how they all are actually really so good. And they've been discounted their whole lives because of where they're at. They live in Mystery, the city Mystery, in Alaska. And it's just a great flick. You got to check it out. Got to check it out. And the last one, I've seen this movie so many times when I was a kid. You know, I know a lot of people who blog on here talk about this as one of their favorite movies as a kid. I know it was mine, just because I always thought it was so cool. But Nothing But Trouble, oh man, you know, I love this movie. You know, Chevy Chase and Demi Moore take a wrong turn in a wrong city, and John Candy pulls him over and, you know, brings him to the judge here, who's Dan Aykroyd, who directed the film, and everything just goes awful. It's nothing but trouble. And, you know, Chevy Chase and Demi Moore, they're not together, but they just met, and they're trying to, like, you know, he's trying to protect her, I guess. But, you know, it's just such a great movie, and just a lot of things happen, and it's kind of gross in its own way. And John Candy has 2 roles in this movie. He plays the cop, and he also plays Dan Aykroyd's very large daughter. So he has 2 roles in this, and the large daughter's hysterical, doesn't talk, and, you know, you gotta check it out. It's a really good movie, but it's a little weird too. So anyway, that is my November 1st Blu-ray update / DVD update. I absolutely intend on getting more videos going. I know I always say that, but just been so busy. But Mason and I are starting to really get our schedule down, so we'll be able to make more. I'll be able to make more videos. I really look forward to a lot of movies coming out in the theaters soon. I still haven't seen Don John yet. I really want to see that. If you've watched recently, you know, I saw Captain Phillips and really liked that. But I really want to see Don John. You know, I cannot wait for November and December movies. I'm so pumped for Anchorman 2. I'm so pumped for The Wolf of Wall Street, Dallas Buyers Club. You know, even like the Captain. Oh, that's not until 2014. Never mind. I'm just very excited for the movies to come. But I will absolutely be making more videos very soon. So until then, you take it easy and Rocco, can you say it? No, he's just going to destroy my house. Okay, bye.